Friends, today's NRI Samay program from Los Angeles brought to you commercial free by listeners like you. Your generous donations make possible for us to stay commercial free, and today's show is pre-recorded. If you have a question for the guest, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com. We will follow up with the guest and find the answer for you. Thank you for your support. Friends, welcome to NRI Samay. This is your host Ramya from Chicago for NRI Samay Radio. Today's show is based upon a very huge issue which has got a lot of media attention. So in conversation with Nitin Karani. So hi Nitin, welcome to NRI Samay. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having me, in fact.
No problem, no problem. Thank you. So just to give our listeners a head start about who Nitin Karani is, and I understand that you are no longer a trustee with the Humsafar Trust. Could you please give us some information about what Humsafar Trust is all about and how different it is and what is the kind of work you do at Humsafar Trust?
Right. Well, the Hamsa Trust is a community-based organization of self-identified gay men, men who are sexual men, transgender, hijras, LGBT persons. It came into existence in 1994. It's one of the first gay organizations set up in India, and it's probably the only organization in Asia that has got premises from a municipal corporation for its activities, for its office.
Okay.
It currently manages some 6 projects on prevention, care, support, and treatment, reaching out to thousands of gay men and sexual men, transgenders in the Mumbai metro area. It has strong linkages with the public health system and strongly embedded ART services in 5 ART centers in Mumbai.
Okay.
It also provides legal support, crisis management, mental health counseling, and nutritional counseling to communities. It has also, besides that, other community-based organizations of male sex workers, of transgender and hijra communities, of gay men living with HIV. It's also nurtured a support group for LGBT, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender persons, and a youth LGBT group called Yaria. So it's also one more thing, important thing is it's the convener member of Integrated Network for Sexual Minorities, that's InfoSem, which is the only national level network of such organizations, some 192 organizations across India.
Okay.
So it does a lot of work besides HIV prevention work and all the other things that I mentioned. It also does research and capacity building. And a very core area of work is also advocacy for equal rights for LGBT people.
Okay. So
although I'm no longer with Humsafar since the past 1 year, but I still have strong connections with them.
Okay.
The people who run Humsafar are still my friends. I'm also associated with an NGO in Pune called Samapatik, which does similar work, although on a much smaller scale, and it's much younger than Humsafar, of course.
Okay. So the other group you're talking about is right now in Pune, but it is not a bigger group like Humsafar.
Yes, that's right. Okay. But it's modeled on Humsafar.
Okay. So how did Humsafar start? Do you know how everyone came together to start this organization and now you have turned into a group. I mean, you're saying this started in 1994, which means I'm sure you are a very huge organization providing different kind of help and facilitating other gay men like you or LGBTs if you want to call them, lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender. So you are providing... You're also, I understand that gay couples can also come to you to any counseling, or if they are dealing with any issues, they can approach you?
Yeah, they can approach Humsafar or Samapatik any issue related to sexual orientation or even, there are doctors to deal even with your day-to-day issues, for example. I mean, there are physicians. So it's not just about, we we counsel not just couples. I think we counsel much more families than couples probably. A lot of families come, saying that, our child says that he or she is gay and, how to deal with it.
Okay.
And they have various issues around their child's sexual orientation. They have difficulty accepting it. They are afraid about how society would react, etc., etc. So, or there's also a big important element is crisis intervention. If a person is being harassed, whether at home or whether it is by a blackmailer or whether by the police, they can call the people at Humsafar or Samapathic, depending on when they are. In fact, recently Humsafar is part of a project, a helpline project in the western region of India.
Okay.
So people anywhere in the western region can call up if there is a crisis.
Okay. So you have a crisis line number as well. Okay. Is this information on any kind of website where our listeners or our viewers can take note of?
Yeah, in fact, both Humsafar and Samapathic have their Facebook pages.
Okay.
If you just Humsafar Trust or Samapathic Trust, you should be able to find them.
Okay.
The Humsafar Trust URL itself is Humsafar, HUMSAFAR.org.
Okay.
And in fact, Bombay Dost magazine, you were asking me about how Humsafar began.
Right.
If I can just say a little bit about Bombay Dost, because Humsafar came out of Bombay Dost.
Right.
When Bombay Dost magazine started in 1990, it started getting a lot of letters after the email at that time.
Okay.
So it used to get mail from all across India, from people in the smallest towns, just wanting to share their stories, wanting to share their problems, how difficult it was being gay, about being closeted, how to deal with it, how to come out, all kinds of questions. So, and then the founders of Humsafar Trust and Bombay Dost, Ashok Rao Kavi and two of his friends who set up Bombay Dost, they realized that a very urgent need was also there to set up an organization to deal with people in the community who are vulnerable to HIV.
Right.
Because they need friends personally who were becoming positive and falling sick, and there was no help for them. There was nowhere for them to go, and there was the stigma of being gay, not just being HIV positive.
True.
So it was a double stigma. So that's how it was born out of that need in 1994.
Okay. Very, very, very good work that you're doing. I mean, you're helping others in this. Nitin, can you tell us a little bit, I mean, when you hear the word gay, I mean, what is the common misunderstanding that people have? Can you tell us your experiences or what you understand?
Well,
I mean, what is the misunderstandings?
Well, personally, I haven't faced so much homophobia. I mean, I haven't faced any comments to my face about you are unnatural or you are a hijra or you are impotent. Well, my mom herself wasn't, I mean, a lot of it is ignorance.
Right.
So my mom wasn't aware when I came out to her in 1995 about what it meant to be gay.
Correct.
What does the word mean? Is something like this even possible? Or is it the same as being impotent? For at least a few weeks or months, she thought that I'm impotent.
Right.
And after much explaining, she realized that there is a difference. It's not a physical deficiency, or it's not a mental health issue.
Right.
So, but to my face, I haven't really faced homophobia.
Okay.
I don't know if people do talk about it behind my back. But yeah, I mean, commonly, you might have heard recently comments that have been made by public personalities in India ever since the Supreme Court verdict last week when it says about, not that gay sex or anything that oral or intersex, even being heterosexual is a crime.
Right.
You might have heard these statements about it being unnatural. A lot of people use the word unnatural here because the law itself says that anything against the order of nature. So
right, correct.
I mean, the judges, I think, have used the word unnatural. So
true.
So So that's not the only thing though, but I think the more common perception people have is of being important or being the same thing as a hijra, of being scared that, of the impression rather that gay people are all about sex. That's all that they're interested in.
Right.
They forget that sex is just one aspect of life, just like as it is for heterosexual people. Our lives don't revolve around sex. Our lives revolve around loving each other, loving our families, loving each other, about just living our lives in a day-to-day manner like a heterosexual does. I mean, it's about going to work, about taking care of the house, taking care of children or the pets or whatever, about commuting problems, about corruption problems, about jobs, finding jobs. Our lives are no different in that sense from heterosexual people. And sex is just a minuscule part of it.
True.
I would like to remind judges of the Supreme Court.
All right.
So, because they have used the word minuscule minority of people when they are referring to LGBT people. A lot of people have these kind of impression that it's only about sex or we're important or we're hijra.
Right. Yeah. So maybe there is not that much of awareness. I'm sure things have changed in the last decade or so, be it being shown in movies for a comedy part or people talking about it, more and more people coming out and saying that, hey, I'm different or this is what I feel. Maybe this is not natural, but this is how I am. I mean, this is who I am and this is what I feel. So, yeah, I think, a lot of awareness is needed.
A lot of awareness is still needed. There's still a lot of ignorance, yes.
Yeah.
But people from the LGBT community are finding a lot of confidence, especially after the Delhi High Court verdict in July 2009, decriminalizing homosexuality.
Right.
Yes, there are still movies that make fun of gay people, but even before the judgment, things have been changing, especially small movie makers, independent filmmakers, have made movies like Rules, Crack of Superhead Formula, Honeymoon Travels, I think, a few other movies which I can't recollect now, but there have been very, very portrayals within mainstream Hindi cinema. They might not have had big casts, stars playing roles. Probably the only movie with a big star cast talking about being gay was Dostana. But although I personally don't like the movie that much, it brought to the table conversation, and in the Delhi High Court verdict also brought the issue to the fore, and people were forced to discuss it, forced to think about the issue and take a stand, because otherwise it's just ignored completely. It's invisibilized. People don't. It just doesn't even. It's not there in your mind space.
Right. Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. Among others, we focus on stories of need for equality, inspiration, environment, health, and politics. NRI Samay does not rely on corporate funding, and thus our shows are commercial free. We only rely on your donations. Please consider donating to NRI Samay, and all donations are kept transparent on nrisamay.com.
Right.
So Nitin, do you think gays are mistaken for transgenders, or the vice versa? I mean, transgenders being misunderstood as gays. Do you think that happens a lot?
It does happen a lot. I mean, people don't even know what being hijra really means. I mean, they have no idea. They only see hijras begging on the street signals. That's all they have seen. They haven't seen a hijra life at all.
Right.
They have several misconceptions about being a hijra as well. They tend to confuse all of these different identities, all of these different sexual orientations. But yeah, I mean, that's what Humsafar and Samabatik are trying to change. We do a lot of sensitization, not just with the media, but also with all kinds of people, doctors, the police, the judiciary. So we are trying to, and people can approach us for information. There's a lot of literature available online also if people are not sure about things. But yeah, ignorance is, I think, the biggest obstacle that we face yet.
Right. What is your opinion about what recently Supreme Court gave a judgment about the gays?
I think I'm just appalled by the judgment. I think I'm very surprised. I'm very shocked, that the Supreme Court came to this conclusion. And I understand that they want Parliament to take a decision, but if the matter has come up before them, they are supposed to take a stand. And they have taken stand on other issues. They have taken stand on fundamental rights. This is about fundamental rights. It's about equality. It is not about special rights. It's not about promoting homosexuality or anything like that. It's simply, I mean, would they seriously want to put all the LGBT people in jail? I mean, it's inconceivable. I mean, it's not just about that. I mean, they have admitted that it applies to heterosexual people as well, this section, because it criminalizes oral and anal sex for even between heterosexual people. So are they saying that all the sexually active people in India are going to be in jail and they are going to be ruled by prepubescent children? So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I hope that wiser counsel will prevail and they will see sense if it comes up before them for a review.
Yeah. Coming to, talking about rights, talking about gay rights, you see a lot of progress around us, but not in India. How far do you think India has to go in terms of gay rights?
I think India has a lot to do. It's not just about gay rights, as I was saying. It's about individual liberty. It's about equality. It's about treating everyone the same. And that's what the Constitution talks about. And I think this culture of human rights or equality is yet to be strongly settled into people's mind in India. And people, it's when it comes to things like this, it's a matter of usually convenience. It works for you, so it's fine. If it doesn't work for you, so it's not fine. Laws can't be applied unfairly. Laws can't be based on who they are being applied to. They have to be applied to everyone the same.
Right.
And I think that's what people really need to, and that culture of human rights has to really, people have to understand that it's important if they are going to be taken seriously as a country.
Yeah, I think, there is a lot of involvement if you talk about that specifically. Why do you think a lot of people, you keep hearing about all of this, but still when you come on a one-on-one personal talk or one-on-one discussion with any person, I think a lot of people are very touchy about this subject, about the whole gay, lesbian, transgender issues, and or if it comes about treating gays as an equal person next, like just themselves. What do you think? Why do you think that happens? I mean, why do you think people are so touchy about this whole concept of?
I think people are very insecure. They think that it will reflect badly on them if they support equality, if they support equal rights for gay people. They fear that they will be perceived as homosexuals themselves.
Right.
And people like Baba Ramdev, who are saying that anybody who supports gay rights or rather equal rights, who's anti-Section 377, is homosexual themselves. And this is the kind of, homophobia out there. So that's one thing, and I think per se, ever since we've been ruled by the Mughals, we've been ruled by the British, we've become a nation of prudes.
Right.
we don't like discussions about sex, we only do it quietly, away from everybody's eyes, but we don't talk about it. There's not just sex, but there's a lot of sexual abuse.
Right.
There are a lot of other sexual practices which we don't want to talk about. And it's time that we talk about it if we are going to be a healthy nation, not just physically but also mentally, and if we are going to treat everyone fairly. So I think people need to deal with the issue rather than running away from it. And if they find it difficult to talk to somebody about it, the least they can do is find the resources online or wherever in the library and read up and understand that science also says that there is nothing unnatural about homosexuality. And there are different gender identities, and they should try to understand the issue rather than avoiding it.
Yeah.
They need to educate themselves about it.
Yeah. Friends, NRI Samay is a non-profit independent alternate media from Los Angeles, USA, which brings positive stories from grassroots activists from all corners of India and across the world. If you have any interesting episode you would like NRI Samay to cover, we will be happy to do so. NRI Samay would also like to encourage amateur journalists who have a flair for highlighting current events. You can be part of our citizen journalist team. You could cover an important event, interview victims of an atrocity, or document an inspirational story. The idea is to have a mix of experience throughout all parts of the world, preferably supported by an audio or a video clip of your story to be aired, which will be the curtain raiser. You can also submit your opinion articles on important topics to NRI Samay. We will be happy to put it on nrisamay.com in the opinion section. All your work will be credited only to you. And if you're interested, please send an email to nrisamay@gmail.com. I think, right now, of course, we're talking about gay rights and all those issues pertaining to that. But I think India as a country, if you are different from the regular norm, then it's really hard for you to live by. It's like a flow of crowd, so you have to go with the flow if you're against the flow. I think, don't you think so? I mean, India as a country, if you look at it, everything has to happen on time. You have a schedule.
I think it's fine to be different.
Right.
I mean, that's what we are saying. It should be okay to be different.
Yeah.
So we don't have to homogenize ourselves and be the same, be like the West, or be like this, or be like that country. That's fine, as long as we don't discriminate. That's the important thing.
Correct.
As long as we treat everyone fairly, that's the more important thing. I think we should celebrate difference.
Correct. Yeah. We should. Nitin, can you?
If I can just add one more thing about this. There are different kinds of homophobia. There is subtle homophobia where people don't talk about it, invisibilize the issue, like in the kind of phase we are in India right now. And there is the overt homophobia, the violent homophobia that we see in the West, for example.
Right.
I'm sure your listeners are aware about cases of gay people being beaten up and even killed, whether it's in a small town or whether it's in a big town outside a gay pub. There is a lot of crime against gay people in the West, violent crime.
Right.
And that's what I'm afraid of. I mean, as I think that's a phase that we'll have to go through as well, as more and more people come out and the heterosexual society is supposed to deal with this issue.
Right.
There might be some people who would become violent and
yeah, very true. Very true.
I am afraid about that aspect of the future.
Yeah, it is definitely a scary situation. Yeah, if you think about it, it's. Nitin, if a person is gay and he knows that he's not going to get that support, I mean, you have been accepted by your parents, you have sat down, spoke to them, make them understand what exactly you're going through and how different you are. I mean, if you take this as a general topic, what kind of discrimination do gays face, be it at home, be it outside at work, or anywhere else that they go? What type of discrimination do you think gays face?
Well, in the big cities, I don't think families really become violent or throw their kids out of home so much. This might be a bigger issue in smaller towns where it's much more difficult to ignore the rest of society around you, to not care about how society around you feels about the issue. But in the bigger towns, there are other issues. There are more practical issues. For example, I was talking to a friend today, and was supposed to take a shop on rent, and because the verdict came out recently, and he knew that this shop sells gay merchandise. It caters mainly to the gay community.
Okay.
In terms of clothes and apparel.
Right.
And the landlord turned around and said, no, I've decided not to give you my shop on rent. So these kind of issues, I mean, you might face an issue with the landlord. You definitely face issues in terms of insurance, for example. I don't think you can nominate your gay partner for your insurance. A lot of companies here offer medical insurance for your spouse and your dependents and kids. But when it comes to gay couples, because the laws against it, there is no recognition of gay couples, gay marriage. So you can't take benefit of those advantages. You can't approach a home loan company and ask for a home loan as a couple. So you are disadvantaged there as well. So all these kind of practical issues that a lot of heterosexual couples just take for granted, those are not available to gay couples.
Right. So there are a lot more challenges you guys face just for being different, right?
Absolutely. I mean, not just challenges. I mean, it's a daily thing. You have to...
day-to-day activities.
I'm out. Even if I'm out, like I have been for several years now, and I've spoken about the issue in the media, working gay rights organizations, I still do have to keep this in the back of my mind. Am I unsafe? Am I vulnerable in this so-and-so situation?
Right.
So I have to constantly watch my back.
Right. Nitin, I mean, I just stumbled across talking to you. Just a quick question. I'm really curious to know this. If there is a gay couple and there is some kind of domestic violence or maybe some kind of sexual abuse by your gay partner on you, are you allowed to file a regular complaint at the police station? What kind of help does the police do in regards to this?
Absolutely. I don't see why not. I mean, you don't need special laws to cover violence. We already have enough laws. The problem in India is that the laws are not applied consistently, quickly. The judicial system is absolutely slow. So by the time you get justice, it's probably not been worth it. It's probably been more of a harassment that you go through the judicial system. So, I mean, there are regular laws on violence. Anybody beats you up or whatever, abuses you even. There are defamation laws. There are all kinds of laws. The problem is we have more than enough laws. We have probably too many laws, including a stupid law called Section 377, which needs to be done away with.
Yeah.
The problem is the application of the law is very bad. We don't need special laws for domestic abuse. The problem is, the one problem is that, I mean, this is a tangential thing, but India doesn't have a law against marital rape. I mean, if a man rapes his wife, that's okay. And it's just, I mean, it just makes me very angry, the whole thing.
Yeah. It does. It definitely makes no sense. A rape is a rape.
On the other hand, we have laws like Section 377, So, yeah, we have a lot of ground to cover. We have a lot of things to do.
Yeah. We do. So when did you know that you were a gay, and when did you first discover this, and what were your personal reactions? I'm sure you've talked about this a bazillion times, but I still want our NRI Samay viewers and listeners to know the story,
That's okay. I like
how you
looking into
knew
my
and
memory.
how you communicated this to your parents and friends and family.
It was a long journey of, coming with it myself.
Mhm.
I was not comfortable. I became sexually active when I was 13,
Mhm.
when I was still in school.
Mhm.
It took me some 8 years or so to come to terms with the fact that I'm gay, and there is the possibility for me to live an also called alternative life where I
Mhm.
don't have to, get forcibly married to a
Mhm.
woman.
Mhm.
I, if I'm not attracted to women, so why the hell should I ruin somebody
Right.
else's life
Right.
and my life along with it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So that was a journey of some 8 years, coming down with it, and it was helped by the fact that we had satellite television come into India around that
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
that had access to global media. I had
Mhm.
access to Bombay Dose. Bombay Dose had been launched in 1990,
Mhm.
and I came out in 95.
Mhm.
So all those things gave me confidence, and in a personal life, it's just you just reach a point where you have to come out and say to your family, your loved ones.
Mhm.
Uh, I wasn't so much interested in telling the whole world, but just wanted to be honest
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
family and
Mhm.
not keep them in the dark about
Mhm.
a part of my life which completely affects my way of living,
Mhm.
because they had hopes about me getting married.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so yeah, that was a painful journey, a long
Mhm.
journey, but
Mhm.
I sailed through it. I came out with flying colors, I suppose.
Right. Right. Yeah. I'm sure you're an inspirational story for a lot of them listening to this interview.
I
So.
don't know, but I'm happy after a while.
And it's really nice. You have your family support, your friends, your loved ones, and you are no longer in the dark about yourself. You're not insecure about how your life is, and you are at
I'm not
a
living,
right,
I'm not leading a double life, or
right,
fooling the world
exactly,
about it,
right,
and fooling
right.
my children about
You're
it.
you're content and
So
happy today, right,
I'm very thankful for this.
right, right.
And
So,
of course, my family
mhm,
played a large role. I mean, uh,
definitely,
initially, of course, there was a period of education that they had to go through, and
mhm,
some pain that they had to go through to come to terms with it. They had their own
definitely,
coming out to do.
right,
So, but I'm glad that they were strong and they support me
right, right.
today. I mean, they have accepted not just me the way
Mhm,
I am, but also my partner.
mhm. Very true, very true. Because if you take India as a country and how people perceive, uh, for for a very tiny example, if the kid is doing something mischievous or if the child is not studying well, the blame goes to the parents. So I'm sure, there definitely might have been a day where you don't you don't feel that way, but you're made to think that did I do something wrong in my that my child turned out to be this way. I mean, I'm
That's
sure a
one of
lot
the
of parents.
natural, yeah, that's one of the natural questions that comes
Right.
into a parent's
Mhm.
mind when they're dealing with this.
Right. Right.
Where did I go wrong, or what did I
Exactly.
do or not do?
Right. But it
So,
it was definitely not their mistake. I mean, you're different,
yeah,
and you're different.
yeah.
That's it.
So it helps to explain to them
Correct.
that this has nothing to do with upbringing. It has nothing to do with the environment. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with being abused as a child, if
Mhm.
you were, that is.
Mhm.
And I wasn't. In fact, a lot of gay men I know weren't abused as children.
Mhm.
So there's absolutely, I see no connection absolutely between child abuse and being gay.
Mhm.
It's just, as far as I know, it's about genetics.
Mhm.
It's genetic. So, and regardless of why a person is gay, all that question will probably will trouble a lot of people. Why is a person gay? It's just the way nature made us,
Mhm.
and
Mhm. True.
so, and even if it's assuming that it is a choice, I
Mhm.
still don't see why people should be treated equally,
Mhm.
because they are not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting anyone.
Right.
Uh, if if sex is happening, it's happening with consent between two adults in the
Mhm.
privacy of the bedroom.
Mhm.
So I don't see why the state or a third person should have a problem with it.
Mhm. Mhm. Very true. So now that you've come out in 1995, do you see any drastical differences in your life after coming out, after being in the open?
I mean, it's been a gradual thing. It's been I've only just moved out of my parents' house, living with my partner for the last 4.5 years or so. So I have been staying with my parents for a very long time. So my life wasn't that different. Even now, I don't really see my life as being that different. I mean, still spend a lot of time with my parents. Both me and my partner, we spend a lot of time with them. We stay over twice a week or so, and we are constantly in touch on the phone, knowing what's happening with my mom, with my dad. They know what's happening with me, where I am, at what point. I visit them almost every day, even when I'm not staying. So my life hasn't really changed that much, except that I'm very happy to have a partner. I'm very content on that side of my life.
True. And in public or at work, do you see any kind of different behavior, any kind of discrimination, any difference?
Well, again, there's not over discrimination, but yeah, I mean, come across instances where people have said that they were denied a promotion because they were openly gay. But those instances so far have been few. But then not that many people are out at work yet.
Okay.
So this is still, we are still testing the waters in that respect. There's no, as I said, benefits in terms of benefits of discrimination as it is. But apart from that, there's constant. People don't realize that they are being homophobic when they crack gay jokes at work, and they don't realize how gay people around them are feeling. Not everybody speaks.
Right.
So there's not overt homophobia, but all these little things are there which add up and rankle. But also a lot of transgender people are coming out, and I think this is going to be another big issue at corporates. At big corporates, and they don't know how to deal with issues, for example, about whether to have a unisex toilet, whether to have separate toilets for men, women, and transgenders. So, and because of that, for example, I know of a company, a multinational, which did not hire a transgender person. They didn't consider even the candidature of the person because they were transgender, and they didn't know if they were to hire the person, how they would deal with the issue.
Right. Okay.
So there's a lot of learning yet to be done in terms of the workplace as well, and institutions, schools, colleges.
Right. So, Nitin, I mean, on a completely different note, what are the next steps you think for gay rights activism? What do you think are going to be the next?
Well, I mean, we do want gay marriage, for example. I mean, I would want that, but I'm not saying that is a priority. Other people have that as a priority. People are interested in a non-discrimination law at work, at institutions. But then now I don't really see anything happening until Section 377 is done away with or diluted so that it doesn't apply to consensual sex in private between adults.
Right.
That's the biggest obstacle in any kind of progress in terms of equal rights.
Okay. So that has to change for a lot of things to be effective, right?
For us to usher in equal rights in all areas of life for everyone.
Right.
Section 371 has to go.
Very true. All right. I think I'm done. I think I'm really happy to interview you, Nitin. It has been a pleasure talking to you and knowing the issues and challenges you face. So, and anyone who wants to contact you, I'm sure they can look up the queer blogspot. I believe you have a blog page.
Yeah, it's queerindia.blogspot.com. And I'm also active on Twitter as Queer India.
Okay.
And anyone who needs information from Humsafar or something, they can go to their Facebook pages or to humsafartrust.org.
True, true. Okay, for our viewers, we'll make sure all of the links are provided so they will know where to contact you or where to get help from.
Sure. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
this
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Friends, if you liked today's show, please go to youtube.com/NRI Samay and click on the subscribe button. You will get notified every time we publish a new show. And you can also like us on our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Google+.